What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. I've got 4 bets that I've put down that I'm going to take you through today. If that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice and the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
Before we jump into the picks, we do have to recap the day that was. I shared 4 picks with you guys yesterday. I went 2-2. Overall in VIP, went 4-3, so not much better. Overall VIP, we lost 5 units. It was another one of those days. We made a small profit on straight picks, but unfortunately, these risky parlays and value plays, it didn't happen for me. So hopefully today's the day we get it right, but let's talk about the picks that we went through yesterday. Firstly, Jimmy Butler over 13.5 rebounds and assists. He covered his assists line, but didn't get close to his rebounds. I was actually quite surprised to see Jimmy Butler checking Trae Young for a lot of this game. I thought Podziemski would be a better matchup for that, but Jimmy Butler put his hand up for the task, and the Warriors lost. The Hawks, upset win. They shoot 57% from the field. Rebounds are always going to be difficult under these circumstances. So didn't hate the bet there. Unfortunate. Should have just ran with the assists. A lot of my research was just on the assists. So the rebounds thing, I don't know what I was doing. Maybe it was the hit rate was better. I couldn't tell you, but fuck it. We move on. Giannis took him over 6.5 assists. Not even close. What's funny is the role players I expected to score well did. Brook Lopez scored well. Torian Prince, Kyle Kuzma, Gary Trent Jr. They all scored well. And originally I was looking at Brook Lopez. That's who I wanted to bet on. But then I was like, oh, all of these other guys have a good matchup too. If Brook doesn't score and these guys do, I'll be pissed. So I went with Giannis thinking he was going to dime up to everybody. It didn't happen. Not even close. So that was a bad read. Maybe I got too cute with it. I don't know what happened there with Giannis. Had 13 assists against him last time. This time barely passed the ball. Alex took him for over 21.5 points and rebounds. This was a bad read. The others I can live with. This one, not happy with. The Knicks were great. Alex he had been playing great, but it came to an end. He was absolutely disgusting. He was awful. Alex Daft Previews were pretty much neck and neck in how bad we were. So not happy with that one. The Knicks had been trash up until this point, and then they turned it on today. The Wizards had been trash, but at least Alex was playing good, and today didn't happen for me. So Alex no good there. A couple of winners, though. Luka over 8.5 points in the first quarter. That was the easiest bet of the day. He goes there for 17 points in the first. Let's go, Luka. Vucevic over 1.5 3-pointers made. This was plus money, plus 135. This hit, but he only took 3 attempts. When I told you guys about this pick, I said, provided he takes 5 shots, 5 3-pointers, I'd be happy with this. He only takes 3. It still cashes. So I guess I'd say I got lucky. Wasn't the best read. He didn't take the shots, but Buzelis did. Who would have thought the Chicago Bulls would blow out the Lakers by 30 when LeBron comes back? Wow. Anyway, other winners, Jackson Hayes over 13.5 points and rebounds. It was Lob City to start the game, and it got real sweaty late. The Bulls punished LA. Hayes barely saw any more shots, but he did get a rebound to get us over this line. And Trey Lyles over 11.5 points and rebounds. This honestly was a fantastic bet, despite him only finishing on 12. Trey Lyles took 12 shots. His points line was 6.5. He took 12 shots to cover this line with his points and rebounds. He shot like absolute shit, but it still cashed. I had 2 value plays on Trey Lyles, and man, it should have delivered based on the volume he put up today. But what can you do? We're locked in. We've got another set of games, a large set of games, obviously a lot of game time decisions, but I'll get you to the 4 picks, and then we can talk about my insights, my thoughts on all the others. Let's go. So jumping into Props Madness, best tool you're going to find. You get a 7-day free trial, and you get 25% off if you use the code DAFT when you happen to sign up. Now let's start talking about some of these picks. The first one is in this Detroit Pistons versus the New Orleans Pelicans, and a difficult one to cap this game, if I'm being honest with you. The last time they played, it was like a 40-point win or something like that, 46-point win for the Pistons. The Pelicans, we don't know if Zion's going to play. We don't know if like 2 others are going to play. And this game is on at 6 a.m. my time. And although I'll probably be up, I'm not going to have enough time to wait for these lineups to be confirmed. So not going with any of the stars in this one. If I was going to bet something in this, it had to be first quarter. And I thought about first quarters, and I had to go Tobias Harris. So if you did not know, Tobias Harris in the first quarter has been an absolute wagon for the last few months. and I'm taking it again. So looking at over 4.5 points for Tobias Harris over the first quarter. It is a little bit juiced, but again, if you just play this every single time at the way he's currently playing, you'll cash out more times than not. So Tobias Harris, what have we got? He plays 10 minutes, 10 to 11 minutes in the first quarter most of the time. He's over this line in 20 out of his last 27 games, averaging 5.7 points per game. He's got a soft matchup here against the Pelicans. They don't play any defense at all. And given their injury report, they're going to be missing some key pieces. So pretty soft matchup here for Tobias Harris. He played them not too long ago, less than a week ago. He had 6 points in the first quarter of that game. I did a deeper dive into what he does in the first quarter, and what I found is Tobias Harris, on average, takes about 5 shots in the first quarter. Looking at his last 10 games specifically, he's made a three-pointer in 7 out of the last 10 games, so it's likely that he makes a three-pointer here, and if he does, we really only need 2 baskets from him, or even a couple of free throws and a three-pointer, then we're good. It's Gucci. Now, if this line bumps to 5.5, I wouldn't take it because then he's most likely would need 3 baskets, but at 4.5, let's go. Let's roll with Tobias Harris. So I'm taking his first quarter points prop. I wouldn't take anything else in this game unless I knew what the lineups were. Cade Cunningham under his PRA was a lean of mine. Could be another blowout on the cards. Malik Beasley has an awesome matchup, but he's in the starting lineup now, and he doesn't tend to play too well when he gets that opportunity. He's got to share the ball Cade a little bit more. Plus, there's a blowout risk, yada, yada, yada. So I'm not touching Beasley. It looks like a lot of people are because this line is open at like 16.5 to 18.5 in some books. So Malik Beasley bettors, good luck. Enjoy the ride. But what's the other pick that I have for you? It's in the Charlotte Hornets versus the Miami Heat. And these guys played each other not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago. And I'm rolling with Mark Williams today, over 13.5 points for Mark Williams. Now, he's projected to play 28 minutes in this game. I looked at games where he plays between 25 and 31 minutes. And Mark Williams over this line in 11 out of 17 games. But more specifically, if we look at those games with LaMelo and Miles Bridges, he's over in 7 out of 11 games, averaging 15.9 points per game. He's over this line in 5 consecutive games with LaMelo and Bridges when he sees this number of minutes. So I'm liking what I'm seeing here in terms of his recent form coming into this. Did play the Miami Heat 2 weeks ago. He scored 24 points in only 29 minutes. Made 9 field goals in that game. 6 of those were dunks, right? And one thing I love about this, he's got the matchup with Ware, his task of defending the rim for Miami. What I've noticed in a lot of the recent Miami Heat games is Ware pretty much is responsible for defending that rim, which means if someone like a Bridges or a LaMelo drives a ball, he's going to leave Mark Williams open pretty much, which is why Mark Williams had so much success in their last matchup. Now, Mark Williams in that last matchup looked at all the points, scored 24 of those suckers, and he happened to score a lot of his points in broken play and in transition. I find those types of plays are difficult to scheme against. You can't necessarily limit them too much with the game plan. Well, you can, but I doubt that's what Miami Heat does here because Bridges, he scored 35 points against them in that last one. And I think Miami will be doing all the adjustments to slow down Bridges somehow. LaMelo Ball, they did a great job slowing him down. Only scored 15 points. He still took 21 shot attempts. So they have a plan for LaMelo. They didn't have a plan for Miles Bridges, and he absolutely smoked them. I think they come up with a plan to try to limit Miles Bridges in this one, and I think that might even open things up for Mark Williams even more. The Miami Heat do play in a zone a lot more. Mark Williams does get more touches within that zone, and all the transition broken plays that I expect to see in this one. It's going to benefit Mark Williams a lot here. Bam Adebayo most likely checks Miles Bridges, so Khalil Ware, he's going to be the one who's having to defend Mark Williams, and both lanky bastards, but Mark Williams still has the strength advantage on the young fella. So I'm liking Mark Williams to score 13.5 points here. Should get a couple dunks, get to the free throw line, couple putbacks. That's on the menu for Mark Williams today, so I do like him to go over his points prop. The next one, we're heading over to the 76ers versus the Hawks. The Hawks are on a back-to-back. Not many markets available. We don't know if Trae Young's going to play or not, but this Philadelphia 76ers team, we know who is going to play, and that's pretty much everyone who's available. Their injury list is as long as their active list, but I'm rolling with Justin Edwards here, over 13.5 points. Like what I've seen from him lately, and he's still going to continue to see the same opportunity. So he started to see starter minutes over his last 3 games, 40, 30, and 38 minutes. What I do like is he scored very well, 18, 19, and 25. And he managed to score 18 points against the Houston Rockets, 19 points against the Oklahoma City Thunder, which are difficult matchups, 25 against the Spurs, which is a softer matchup. And then he is up against the Atlanta Hawks today, who some would argue is equally just as soft as the Spurs right now. So Atlanta on a back-to-back. I'm liking Justin Edwards to take advantage of that. Embiid, Maxey, George, they're done. Lonnie Walker, mid-season signing, and he's out too. I think Quentin Grimes probably still scores 25 to 30 points. I considered betting on him, but that line is high as hell, higher than me right now after a couple of gummies. But Quentin Grimes probably going to score 30 points. But where will the Philadelphia 76ers get the remaining 70 points from? And I think Justin Edwards, he's got to at least contribute 14 of those. Now, outside of Quentin Grimes over the last 3 games, Justin Edwards has been the most reliable option. In these 3 games, his shot volume has been consistent as hell. 15 against the Rockets, 14 against the Thunder, and then 14 shots against the San Antonio Spurs. I looked at the season and I looked at what happens when he takes a similar volume. I went a little bit conservative, of course. Looking at games where he takes at least 12 shots, he's over this line in 6 out of 8 games, averaging 17.9 points per game. I also think Dyson Daniels, who's an absolute beast of a defender, I think he's going to be responsible for picking up the Grimes matchup as well. So Justin Edwards most likely has a softer matchup than Quentin Grimes anyway. So I like the volume. I like the opportunity. I like his matchup here. Give me Justin Edwards over 13.5 points. Now on to my last play. We're heading over to the Denver Nuggets versus the Houston Rockets. And I'm betting on my man, Russell Westbrook. If you did not know, Russell Westbrook is one of my favorite players. I don't know why. I just have a soft spot for him through all the bullshit that he's been through. Seems like a really nice guy off the court. But rolling with Russell Westbrook today, and we're not taking any overs. I know you guys have been asking for unders, and I got one for you here. Taking Russell Westbrook under 7.5 assists. This line will most likely move to 6.5, but you're probably going to get great odds for it anyway. But the majority of the books right now do have the 7.5 available, but I'd still play this at 6.5, and this is why. Firstly, I looked at games without Nikola Jokic. Now, he's over this line in only 4 out of 9 games without Jokic, averaging 7.7 assists. Now, if you dive a little bit closer, you'll see, firstly, the games he's gone over his assists, 14 against Memphis. That's where the Denver Nuggets won as underdogs. 8 assists against Clippers. They won by 23 as underdogs. 16 against the Golden State Warriors. They won by 9 as underdogs. And then he also had 9 more recently against the Lakers. And they lost that game, but he still had 9 assists from 17 potentials. Outside of that, it's been struggle street. In one of the games that he's played against the Houston Rockets, there was no Jokic in this game. They lost by 20. He only had 2 assists in 25 minutes. I don't think it's going to be that difficult for him, but 4 or 5 assists is what I think I have on the cards here for Russell Westbrook, and it's purely because of this matchup. The first thing I'll call out about this matchup is the Houston Rockets are finally healthy again. They have an elite defense when they have everybody there. They've had Jabari Smith out for a while. Fred VanVleet was out for a while. Eamon Thompson out more recently. Well, they're all back. The boys are back. The band is back together. And I think the Houston Rockets defense is back to its best. And when they're at their best, what they pretty much do is they limit assists like crazy. They allow the fewest assists in the league. They don't allow spot-up shooters to catch and shoot. They're pretty good under the basket. 8th fewest assists allowed under the basket. Westbrook's going to have a tough time here. The way that they defend the pick and roll, they're going to force Westbrook to drive. They're going to force him to attack. I can see a high volume game here for Westbrook in terms of shot attempts. I'm not saying he's going to score a lot of points because I can't guarantee he makes these layups, but I think he takes a lot more shot attempts than he does potential assists. I don't see the assist opportunities being there for Russell Westbrook. So I'm taking his under 7.5 assists, and I've also got a value play here on Russell Westbrook as well. Not only am I taking the under in his assists, but I'm pairing that with the over in his turnovers. So without Jokic, he's hit over 4.5 turnovers in 5 out of 9 games. He's pretty much averaging 5 turnovers per game. This is a plus money add too. Like it's plus 125 if you take the over in his turnovers. You put those things together, you get like plus 280. So I'm liking the odds here for Westbrook just to have a difficult game all round. It's not one that I wish on one of my favorite players, but hey, the money in my pocket's got to come first at some point, right? So Russell Westbrook taking the under in his assists for the value play. I'm also adding an over in his turnovers. I think he has a tough night here, unfortunately. Sad to say. But those are the 4 picks that I have. Before we get into all the leans, I ask that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop me some comments down below to push this thing out to the algorithm. Let's get more people watching the Daft Preview Show. Despite the struggles we may have, unfortunately, this pain is being felt like in a lot of places. It is just awkwardly difficult right now. Like I've got Discord messages as I speak of somebody saying that the league is fucked up. Never in my life have I seen it like this. So yeah, tough times out there, but you just got to stick with it. See what lessons we can learn. Try to make the best plays possible, and then hopefully everything settles the way that you like it to. We're not having good days as consistently as I would like to, but when the good days do happen, it more than makes up for all the bad days. So let's talk about it. The Pels and the Pistons. I spoke to you guys about where I'm thinking, like, I'm not betting on anything until I know who's playing. There could be a potential blowout there. We've got the Cavs versus the Jazz. The Cavs are not playing very well lately, but at the same time, we've got a massive spread here against Utah, 15-point spread. If the Cavs don't cover that 15-point spread, then I think there's a lot of value on the table for some of these Utah Jazz players, whether you like Walker Kessler to get some rebounds. The one thing I like about Walker Kessler and getting some boards today, we shouldn't see any bullshit rotations against the Boston Celtics, which the Jazz knew they were going to lose. Walker Kessler played his full set of minutes. I think if they're a chance of winning, you're going to see some bullshit like this Washington Wizards game, even though they still won. But I think there could be some value for the Utah Jazz players if they can cover. For Cleveland, I wouldn't know who to take in this type of matchup. There could be a blowout here. Darius Garland assists. That got my interest. That's purely based on matchup and the fact that everyone has a good matchup. So that was one that I considered. Evan Mobley and his PRA is usually a nice one at 30.5. He's been crushing it post the All-Star break. I do like that number for Evan Mobley, but yeah, I just worry a 15-point spread and the Cavs trying to rest up really before the playoffs. Do they play everybody that long of minutes if they don't need to? The Hornets versus Miami. Had one look on LaMelo Ball. Wanted to take his assists. Been potential assists are up over the last 5 games. He's hit this in 4 out of his last 5 as well. And it correlates well with the Mark Williams look. But at the same time, I don't know. I still find it difficult to bet on LaMelo Ball. Considered the under in his points, but 22.5 is quite low. He took 21 shots against Miami last time. He struggled 24% from the field. You get a slight uptick in his shooting percentages. Suddenly he's going over. So I didn't play that. Miles Bridges, he murdered the Miami Heat last time. He's played 1 game since his return to injury. Didn't play too well in that last game against New York, but I guess he didn't need to. The Charlotte Hornets absolutely smoked them. So, and I also think Miami could be devising a plan here. They don't want another 35-piece dropped on from Miles Bridges. Daquan Jeffries, I was actually really close to betting this and then talking to you all about it, but pretty much as of late, he's been balling. He's over his points line in 5 out of his last 6 games. His 3-point line is over this in 6 out of his last 7. His 3-pointers, you can get this at plus money as well. If you want to make 2 3-pointers, it's a plus money look. He's got a decent matchup against Miami. He had 2 3-pointers made against Miami last time. He only shot 2 from 7. So, yeah, I do like this, but I just bet on Daquan Jeffries in the last game, and I feel lucky that I hit that. Didn't want to double dip on Daquan as much as I'd like to read. Celtics versus Blazers. I didn't even look at this. You got like 3 starters from both teams who are game time decisions right now. So I think you've got to wait till lineups are finalized before you make a call on that. 76ers Hawks. Trae Young. We don't know if he's going to play. Quentin Grimes. He should score between 25 and 30. He's been killing it lately, but I just can't wrap my head around Quentin Grimes having a 26.5 points line. His assists could be another option as well. 4.5. I think the league's locked into Quentin Grimes being the scorer now for the 76ers. So if the Hawks overcommit on Quentin Grimes, I think the assist could really open up at 4.5. He's got a decent hit rate there as well. And then we've got the San Antonio Spurs versus the Raptors. Didn't look too heavily into this one. Again, it's another matchup where there isn't too many game time decisions, but we don't have too many markets available. When it looks like that, I feel like there could be some decisions made late as to who plays and who doesn't. But looking at the Spurs, Stephon Castle and Devin Vassell, they're seeing all the usage rate at the moment on the offensive end. Another call out is Jeremy Sohan. He's in the starting lineup now. I think he could be of some value because he's projected to play 30-plus minutes. So Sohan getting big minutes can usually put up a good start line as well, but there's no markets available for him. And you won't catch me betting on Raptors props for the rest of this season because they're on some bullshit. We got the Nuggets versus the Rockets. We spoke about Westbrook. Houston Rockets, man, they've got 7 players with a points line over 10.5. I wouldn't know where to start, but Jalen Green, He's obviously probably the focal point of their offense. Scored very well against Denver in the past, so I get why a lot of people are probably betting his over in points. I'm not down for it. All it takes is a Şengün big game, a Brooks big game, Thompson big game, Fred VanVleet strong game. Like if one of these other players has a really strong offensive night, it's going to be difficult here for Jalen Green to get his. So I can't tell you where the points are going to come from. Jabari Smith has an awesome hit rate on his points prop, but I'll call this out. Jabari Smith is now relegated to the bench, so he'll still see about 25 minutes, and he has a decent hit rate, but this will mislead you if you just looked at his last 10 games. And for this Denver Nuggets team, we've already got the under on Russell Westbrook. Aaron Gordon's been scoring a lot of points lately, but he's got a tough matchup here against Houston. Jamal Murray, we don't know if he's going to play. I think he's a game-time decision. It's likely that he plays, though, but we'll see. So, yeah, nothing I desire on the Denver Nuggets team. Houston, that's too difficult to cap right now. Then we have the Thunder versus the Clippers. And the main game-time decision I'm waiting on in this one is Lou Dort. So my call out here is Lou Dort, when he plays up against James Harden, Lou Dort turns into a savage. Like he'll score a lot of points because not only does Lou Dort chase James Harden around on the defensive end, when the OKC Thunder have the ball, James Harden defends Lou Dort, and he doesn't really defend him. He kind of leaves him open the whole time. So if Lou Dort is good to go with no minutes restriction, I might be looking at Lou Dort to score some points. SGA, scoring run, is amazing. Hates the Clippers, but what he's punished the Clippers on is assists. Check this out. 3 games against the Clippers this season, 8.7 assists per game. 6.5 is juice. So you got to take this at 7.5 for SGA. And this number is really being drawn out of the head-to-head matchups. Recently, he's averaging 6.7 assists over his last 27 games. So the 7.5, it's a little bit too high for me. Points and assists is one that I considered because we all know that he can score 40 points if he really wanted to. He can cover this in points alone. But I think there might be some value here on Lou Dort. It all depends on whether he plays or not. And for the Clippers, they got a lot of options now. James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Zubac, Powell, Bogdanovic. A lot of options here. Bogdanovic is a great matchup when it comes to scoring. OKC give up a lot of spot-up shooting points. Bogdanovic has been playing well lately. Norm Powell just came back. His minutes restriction is still there. He should play about 28 minutes in this game. So question marks on that. Kawhi Leonard, he's been extremely efficient over his last 5 games. He's playing very well. He hasn't played OKC this season, though, so I don't know how he matches up here. Zubac, he's been playing quite well against his number as of late, but he struggled in 2 out of the 3 games against OKC. But in a lot of these games, Hartenstein or Chet Holmgren weren't playing. Chances are he sees both of them today. So maybe an under for Zubac. He might have a difficult matchup today. He might be looking at under in points or his PRA. But I'll make a call in this Clippers game when I wake up in the morning. Hopefully lineups are close to being finalized then. We've got a good idea, and then I can make some decisions on it. But that's all I've got for you today. I think the last update I'll give to you actually is around the application that I put out. I said that I was looking for some help, wanted to build an A team to help me with all the things that I do at Draft Previews. And I just wanted to say thank you for all the interest. Like I have over 200 applications waiting for me to be reviewed. I reviewed some of them, but it is going to take me a little bit longer than expected. I'm not in a massive rush to get it done. I don't plan to need this help for this current NBA season. I'm kind of future-proofing. But for those applications that I like and I see that, I'll be reaching out to those people directly. But I just want to say thank you. If I don't get back to you, please don't be too upset with me. I've got 200 applications to go through. It's going to be unrealistic for me to get back to everybody. So I do appreciate those of you who did apply. And hopefully I reach out to you soon. But I do appreciate it. I love the fact that you guys have made it this far in the video. Best of luck. Let's green out tomorrow. We've got a big set of games. Hopefully we avoid the bullshit and we cash some slips. Best of luck. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay.